Mhm.
Ukraine.
You're
And
live.
yeah, hey everyone, well, welcome. It's evening. Usually we see it during the day, but it's Friday. It's the end of the week, and finally it has come. What we've been everybody's waiting for, what the media has been talking about. Nothing but this summit. What did we tell you it was going to be? A dud. What was it? A dud. We told you it happened, and now we're back to reality. So basically, we just took away a week out of our lives to be able to give two dictators time to do their evil stuff. Vladimir Putin, which we'll get into, and Donald Trump, obviously, because for the whole week, the media hasn't asked one question about Maxwell, Epstein, Dan Bongino, the fact that we still have the National Guard in Washington D.C. People taken off the streets. We were all, debating, watching these fools on TV talk about what is Putin going to say and how is Trump going to look at him. Well, folks, we're going to talk about something interesting because I don't think that was even Putin that was there, but that's one of the things.
Yeah.
One of the things that I was telling Malcolm as we were starting today earlier, we did a show on Dean Blundell. Dean Blundell, incredible. If you guys haven't yet, make sure you go follow him. He's from Canada, has some really good sources up there. Runs a great show. We do it once a week, where it brings a little funniness to it. It takes that serious out of all the news. And today we were doing the show, the pre summit, whatever you want to call the sham. And on that show, we had Alex Alexander, my co-host from Voice from Ukraine, Malcolm, join us, and we were on there talking about. And Alexander looked at us and said, "Hey guys, Lev, I don't think Putin is the real Putin on that plane." I go, "You serious? What are you talking about?" He goes, "Make your calls." He goes, "Because I just took a look at the guy that got on the plane in Magadan. Magadan is where supposedly Putin stopped to do." He goes, "That's a double. That's one of." And look, guys, I'm not a conspiracy theorist, and that's why Malcolm is here. But I just want you guys to understand one thing: Russia does do. I mean, they have body doubles.
They do.
Without conspiracy, that's part of the way it's done over there. So, and I'll let Malcolm talk to that. But there's also a lot of talk for a while that I've been hearing from my sources and others that because remember Putin was very sick for a very long time that all of a sudden we don't talk about. Now, also there was a lot of things that happened to Putin during COVID, mentally, from him being in a bunker by himself for a very long time, not allowing people to come in. So what I'm saying to you is, it's not about conspiracy right now, talking about if he's alive or dead or that, but it doesn't matter about that. They do have doubles. Putin has several doubles. It's a fact. It's not even the case. And today, after watching this, Malcolm, I'm going to confirm with Alexander and some of my other sources and say, I believe that was a body double and that was not Vladimir Putin that was even up
Wow.
there. And,
Okay.
and to watch that sham. And we'll start off by some of the things that he did that just, look, I've watched, and I don't know Vladimir Putin, let's say, when we talk about personally, that I've spent 50 years knowing him, the way he moves, talks. I don't know him as well as I know Donald Trump, have not spent time with him, but I've been around him since before he even became president. I was in Soviet Union. I watched him progress. I watched him on TV. I watched him live, and I've seen him. I've watched his manners. I know people that are extremely close to him. I know some of the things that are internally that are said that you could tell that others. You know what I'm saying, T. Malcolm?
Right.
I know the guy. And there's certain just things that Vladimir Putin just does and doesn't do. And some of the things that happened when I watched this theatrics that played out today.
Right.
First of all, getting off the plane, coming up to him and making jokes to him like "welcome neighbor" or something like that.
Yeah.
I mean,
I was struck because I've seen a lot of video of Putin. I've seen, serious officious Putin who we usually see. He's usually quiet. I've seen Putin giving press conferences in Moscow. But this was excited, animated Putin.
yeah.
And I'm like, whoa, when he shouted back at the journalist, put his hands around his mouth, and we were like, what the
Well,
F is this? And, so okay, let's put this out as official breaking news. Sorry, guys, I'm crying. That was such a dull ass press conference. Bottom line up front, absolute waste of time, distraction from Epstein. Boom.
Yep.
That's the top line that everybody should be putting on their chyrons. Everyone should go out and tweet that absolute waste of time, dud, designed to distract. The only thing that I can say is I'm a little humbled because my prediction is that Trump was going to go whole hog and betray Ukraine for Russian money straight up because Putin bought a business delegation with him on this
Oh
trip.
yeah, 100%.
Right? I mean,
100%.
Dmitriev was there. He's their version of
What fun?
Witkoff
Yep.
for negotiating the money, right?
Yep.
And so I thought Trump was going to be, the big thing was dangled. Trump, on the other hand, decided he wanted to reestablish Putin as a world leader at the top of the world. He had been diminished. He is a war criminal who has warrants for his arrest. He couldn't travel around the world in many places. And Trump decided to say, I believe this guy because of his fascination, love, and adoration of Putin. You know, it was Trump who was the junior player today, I felt, even though Trump was standing there. But by greeting Putin as Putin was the conquering hero coming in, literally giving him red carpet, having him escorted by F-22
He
fighters,
stood there, clapped
applauded for him, applauded
while he was
like,
walking.
here he is. Oh, here's my guy. Trump came off like the fucking doorman, at Trump Tower. And like the bosses arrived in the limousine and then, sat there with his hand in his reverse steeple, which is a sign of utter submission and openness to the guy he really thinks is a mafia don.
Oh, 100%. And also, to proceed to moving forward, did you see how everything was played out? Because the media is just so stupid. They're like, oh
Right.
my God, Putin is getting into the beast. Putin is getting into the beast.
Yeah.
Like that, they didn't. And then this is what I'm saying to you. Like, nobody stopped. Putin went straight into the beast. That was discussed.
That was
That is that was
negotiated beforehand. There was no
beforehand. Exactly.
secondary vehicle for it.
Thank you very much. And not only that, is right before that, that's when they changed all of a sudden from the one-on-one to the three-on-three, and they still gave Trump the one-on-one without the translator because
Right.
a
Because
lot of
he's in
people
the
don't understand.
vehicle.
Right. And Putin's body doubles, whoever that was, speaks perfect English. So he doesn't need a translator to communicate
I
with
have to tell
Donald
you
Trump.
something. My first thought when you said that, now, second breaking news of this story is Lev Parnas believes that's not Putin.
Yep.
Okay? That's entirely possible. When the Putin on Earth 2 showed up down in Kursk province and came to the command bunker of the area in the front line fighting, that guy looked a lot like him. And that guy was also animated and was subservient to the generals. He actually bowed at one point and shook the hand of the generals, and I was like, whoa, who is that guy? Because that ain't Putin. But today, I've not been around Putin. You have?
No, but that's the same thing, Malcolm. You just said it. Just like think about it. It's the little things. You don't have to be around Putin to know just who Putin is. He's not gonna come up and shake hands with the generals. So when he did that, that was for you. And you're like, whoa, he's not. Same thing here. Putin doesn't act like that with the media. Putin is
He
gonna sit
ignores
there.
the media. Everything I've ever seen of Putin, it's a solid wall, blank face.
Take a look at Helsinki. Take a look at Helsinki
Right.
when Putin is standing up there like this, and take a look at here. Like he looked like. And the other thing, here's another telltale. I'll tell you. Putin is a professional speaker. Putin. When was the last time you seen Putin speak like this?
Read off it, yeah.
That I was watching that. The guy was like reading and quickly. I was incredible. But but Trump got what he
Sorry.
wanted, what he thought he wanted, and this is where why this was all built up. Did you hear towards the end how the double take Putin turned around and said, "You know what? I want to say that if it wasn't the previous administration in 2022, right before I was about to invade, I told them doesn't have to go down that way, but they didn't listen to me, so I
Right.
invaded." And so I want to tell the world, if Donald Trump was president, I would
Yeah.
not have invaded.
Yeah. Oh my God. Fuck Joe Biden.
Dude,
Right there, right?
dude, what
Right.
he
The only
said.
thing he didn't say was Joe Biden. Uh, oh my God. Putin understands MAGA. He understands Trump. My last book that I wrote about Trump, the Trump administration, was The Plot to Betray America, how Team Trump embraced our enemies and what we can do about it. Well, I was wrong on the what we could do about it part, right? They fucking got reelected. But I was right about it. I started it with Putin's history as a human intelligence officer, as a case officer for the KGB, and how he was, his manipulation, right? Manipulation of people is his full-time job, right? And he just brought those skills on an international scale. So getting in the car with Trump, it was all pleasantries. Donald, you're the best. The only thing he didn't do was say in the press conference, Donald Trump has given Alaska back to Ukraine, but I mean to Russia. But it was pantomime. This was a real Potemkin village too, because I don't know what Trump thought he was doing by, supposedly bringing him here, but other than to distract from Epstein. Now, but he said, I'm going to know in the first 2 minutes, 5 minutes, what do you say? First minute, 2 minutes, 5 minutes, whether Putin's ready to make a deal. And if he's not, I'm going to walk out.
And there's
Well,
going to be serious consequences.
no deal.
Where's the consequences?
No deal. We'll keep talking, is what they said. Yeah.
So we walked in there. So there is no. Remember, a week ago, right before this was announced, this emergency meeting, Trump was supposed to be putting on secondary sanctions. So there's no secondary sanctions. That's out the window. There's no ceasefire. That's out the window. There's a great relationship between Vladimir Putin and Donald Trump. They gave each other hugs and kisses and said that, listen, they're blood brothers. They were both part of
Right.
Russia.
Right.
Putin can't even. You don't even understand, people, how Putin sits there right now, the real Putin and the real KGB and people that know, and sit there and look at and Donald Trump and say, what did we do so good to get blessed to have Donald Trump? Like,
Well, you carried out an operation since
I
1977,
I
collecting
mean that
information on this guy.
even that, Malcolm, to get blessed to get a fool like that,
A fool.
that just tied. I mean, he literally gives it. He just says, you know what, we were tied together, Russia. It's like he's giving it to them.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like, yeah,
And he's aggrieved for Putin, aggrieved for him that someone accused Putin of doing something bad against America, and he's the one upset. You don't hear Putin popping off about the Russian hoax, or we didn't. Putin fucking admitted that he tried to get Trump elected. His staff have admitted that. Russian oligarchs have admitted it, that they carried out special activities to get Trump elected. And here's Trump literally like, why did you pick on my friend? He's my friend and you're Russiaing him. I wrote 3 fucking books on Russia. I wrote the first book ever written about the Trump Russia interference in 2016, and everything is held up except that Trump understood if he lies and tells his people over and over again, cult leader style, that it was Russia hoax, that they would believe him. Well, now Trump has thoroughly convinced himself of it, to the point where he apologizes for a KGB fucking dictator, a
Yes.
KGB dictator. An American president is sitting there fucking fluffing him in
A
front of the
murderer, a
world.
murderer. This guy murders
A
people left, right,
murderer.
You know, look at just what Navalny. I mean, we could the names go on of people, and
Look,
this is
well,
and he just sits there and protects him, and like he wants to be buddies. It's that he wants to get that recognition for Vladimir. But hey, Vladimir, what about next time in Moscow? Oh,
yeah,
I
next
don't
time in
know.
Moscow. Oh, that'll be great. I mean, this is absolute. It was absolutely disgusting what
And
we saw today.
the disgusting part as a
I
Ukrainian, as
did say
somebody,
fluffing.
yeah, and he did say that. And the
Full time
disgusting
job.
yeah, the disgusting part. Can you imagine all the people in Ukraine sitting there that are watching all the promises? Well, like that's what pisses me off. That the media gives hope and lie by the whole week watching it. I was nauseated. I'm telling you honestly, I was
Yeah.
nauseated watching all these pundits coming up there talking about how Trump has changed his whole tune and he's now going to be tough on Russia. And if Russia doesn't get his way, he's going to look him straight into the only one besides me and you, Malcolm, that are out there talking about this shit that is so funny. I think maybe we will bring him on, and not because I like him or I agree with anything, but just on this subject alone,
Mhm.
is John Bolton.
Oh, John Bolton is completely. Look, John Bolton is a
He's a
realist. We should bring him on. But
I'm
I got to
telling you,
tell you,
because we don't like each other. But me and Bolton could confirm, like even the day when he told Rudy to go screw fuck himself, like what in the way out, like he writes it in his book, I write it in my book. So what I'm saying to you is like we don't have to, but he definitely is a realist. He's the only one out there saying it exactly because he was there, just like I was there, just like you were around. We know how these meetings really go down. We know
right, right,
we could see how this is happening, and Bolton was sitting there just now laughing and saying. Well, Putin won again. Trump got absolutely nothing.
nothing.
Absolutely zero. Like
Well, oh no,
absolutely.
he got Epstein off of the top of the discussion for 2 days. And to be quite honest with you, and I said this when we spoke on Thursday, I think the thing that is going to be most damaging him for the coming week, not about this, is is the new factors in the Epstein discussion, which is Melania Trump suing Hunter Biden.
Oh, that's it. That's I'm gonna get Hunter on. We're gonna have Hunter.
Oh, you better
We're,
call me. I want to
we're,
be in on that one
no,
because
we're getting. I spoke to
because
Hunter.
it's like Melania Trump is like Hunter called me, right? And she saw the pictures, of his junk. So she's just like, oh, I know what I could do to hurt Donald, which is freaking sue and make this an international story for the next year and allow discovery.
That
And even worse, they would have to call up Michael Wolff. They've never sued him. He's the guy who actually made the statement, has recordings of this stuff. That could be People magazine or, the National Enquirer magazine story, right? Melania slept with Epstein, which is what the accusation Wolff made that she now wants to sue Hunter Biden for. This that sounds like Donald came up with it. But he didn't understand that'll put this on the map for the next year. They just did Joe Biden, everyone, a favor.
I mean, but that's what he's doing. This, that's how he is because he's so narcissistic. Because he's so just, right now. See, you gotta understand, Malcolm. He thinks he's a dictator, but can't understand why people are not bowing down. Why the news still like he
Yeah, how come this isn't North Korea?
right.
How come this isn't
Right,
Hungary?
right. Like he still can't get it. Like he thinks that how dare you? You can't talk about like insult me, the president, in the media, or insult my wife, or talk about this, or do what. I mean, no. But I agree with you. No, Epstein is his kryptonite. We spoke about that. And even though I know the media chased this whole rabbit hole of what's going to happen with Ukraine. I mean, I'm still curious. I can't wait to hear from some of my sources that when Trump calls Zelensky and what's he going to say to him? Because you could tell tell by Trump's face that there's like what is the deal? What is he? Putin told him that he has to give up. That Trump,
Right.
and the other interesting part. Notice there were no questions.
Yeah.
Trump did,
Oh, yeah.
Trump
Well,
didn't take no questions.
what I find fascinating was when Zelensky came, there was no red carpet. There was no state to state leader meeting. There was no press conference. There was a personal, vicious attack. And I predict this. J.D. Vance already spelled out this week what the Trump doctrine with regards to Ukraine is. And that is they will sell them weapons, but they are going to slowly, if not quickly, cut off intelligence, cut off free weapons,
Yep.
and that they'll sell it to them, and that the United States will no longer be involved in the Ukrainian war. Which to me, I'm sorry, apart from some of the intelligence, that could be filled in by France and England and NATO. But for me, to tell you the truth, it would be more realistic, all right, if and better for Ukraine that they cut those ties. And then
I
they
agree.
should punish the US defense industry. They should buy everything from Europe. And to be quite honest with you, when Ukraine wins this war, at the end, they're going to rearm with everything, every tank, every mechanized. This is, technically defense contractors were fighting for the what happens after the war. You have to replace all those tanks. You have to replace all that equipment. The Ukrainian army will be the largest, strongest, and most experienced combat force in the world at the end of this war. They are now, technically. But I think it could spell the end of U.S. defense sales in Europe.
Wow, you that's a
That's like trillions of dollars.
You know what I would also do if I was Zelensky? I would go on right now social media and I would take that mineral deal that they signed with Donald Trump and I would just I would just I would say like what the
Yeah,
hell
but
was
we're a
that
lot more
supposed
dramatic.
to
I mean, he has to be diplomatic about this, but he's going to come out and make a statement and go, the situation hasn't changed. Now, more importantly, the situation around that town of Poprovsk, where the Russians had made that assault in last Monday, they're literally surrounded and being wiped out one by one. I watched this in real time on Telegram. I see all these things. There was nothing for Putin to come out and say they gained the upper hand this week and broke through. They just made that line vulnerable to complete counterattack on every level. You could actually see a Ukrainian counterattack that breaks through Russian lines here. So, I mean, for everybody else who thinks that Moscow has come into this with any strength, they have not. They've not come into it with any strength. What are you getting, a call from the Kremlin?
No, actually, not, no, Malcolm. You actually reminded me. I totally forgot it. Because you're 100% right. And right now, what I'm also hearing, I was talking about. I know we're talking about the summit, but there's a major attack that Russia's planning, and this is all part of it. And part of that region, the Dnipropetrovsk region,
Uh-huh.
actually earlier today, in solidarity because of we knew this was going to happen. I spoke to Alexander. He spoke to some people in Dnipropetrovsk, where we start up a GoFundMe today to go out, and we're going to bring some aid over the next 2 weeks to that region where they're expecting a major hit. So I'm going
Okay.
to actually post it right now, guys. I posted it up there. If you guys could reshare, this is the GoFundMe for Alexander, for his that he started up, his mission to get aid over to Dnipropetrovsk, especially now more than ever. We know there's no ceasefire. We know there's no peace on the horizon. This is going to intensify. It's going to get really bad. So I put it up there. If you guys please share it in the community, spread wide, whatever you could do, $5, $10, anything.
Yeah.
But helping out right now more than ever, we need to do whatever we can do to help. So please, guys, absolutely. So yeah,
Yeah. Help
no,
out
I mean,
big time.
you just reminded me as you started talking about the attack, and I was like today earlier that's where Alexander exactly actually is going into that area to be able to help them out. But no, Malcolm, I mean, look, we're people. Some people started saying that, where are we today after all of this? I want to say we're worse than we started. And I'll tell you why. Because we, again, today, right now, we have no set time. There's no deadlines for Russia to stop attacking.
Right.
There's no immediate aid or that's going over to Ukraine or that's being delivered. There's no immediate ceasefire. There is no conversation of returning the kidnapped children, the 20,000 kids that were. There's none of that. No, there was no conversation of any of it except for "we'll see you later." All this buildup.
Right.
This reminded me, like, remember when Mike Tyson was at his prime,
Yeah.
when he would knock people out literally in 90 seconds. So this is what this reminded me of, like the buildup. We would wait for that pay-per-view event, that fight coming up. You'd spend the money. You'd sit there, wait a whole year. They'd promote it, the biggest fight. You'd sit there and you'd get ready, and then boom, 90 seconds, the fight is gone.
Right.
It's all done. Yeah, that's it. And you start even saying to yourself, was it even worth my money? Should I even have paid for it? I knew he was going to win. Same thing here. It's
I,
like,
I I think a better analogy is that this is the rehabilitated Mike Tyson after biting someone's ear off, Holyfield's ear off. And now he comes back. He starts with TV commercials, then he goes on The View, and then he goes on, and then he slowly starts being, documentaries and of him training for the fight. This is where Putin is. He is back at the next doing his next heavyweight bout. I think what's really happening ideologically is the great repolarization of the world to where Trump believes deeply that Moscow should be a major player equal to the United States, not as an adversary, but as a major ally and trading partner.
you're
And
you're
he and
100% right.
people are telling him you got to do it slowly. You just can't rip it all off at one time. And this now has done it. If Trump goes to Moscow, it will be complete. I wrote about this in 2016 that they were carrying out Dugin's philosophy of neo-Eurasianism, where Moscow will be given the control of Europe, allowed to do what they want in Europe. America will be the pole that holds up the Western Hemisphere, and China will be allowed to have Asia. And then the big three will make money off each other because they will be controlled or control the global oligarchy. And Trump really wants, I don't think he's smart enough to understand the word ideology, but he understands the flow of money to him. And
And
trust me, Trump Tower Moscow's coming back on the table.
Oh, 100%. And also,
Bitcoin.
what you're saying is 100% right, because you guys understand, in Trump's world, he compares it to mafia boss, because he grew up in a place called New York City, where you had five families, five powerful men, five individuals that
Mhm.
controlled, not only New York City, but most of the country. Some controlled the judges, some controlled the unions, some controlled the transportation, and together they were the power. And that's how Trump is looking at it. He's looking at Vladimir Putin, Xi over there, Kim Jong Un himself, and all of these are going to diversify the world. I mean, break it up, chop it up. That's why Trump is looking at Canada, licking his chops, Greenland, Panama Canal. Meanwhile, doesn't care what Putin does in Eastern Europe. Doesn't, me and you spoke about it. I mean, the
Right.
next step, I mean, China, I mean, it's just a matter of time where we're going to see breaking news. China is attacking Taiwan, and Trump's not going to do anything to
No,
secure
China
that.
could attack it right now, and Trump
Exactly.
will
He
withdraw,
he will
and he'll
walk
go, well,
away.
now we can negotiate with one country over microchips. He does
Exactly.
not care about American democracy. He does not care. The funny thing is, I was watching a movie about World War II, with America's march to defend democracy. He doesn't give a fuck about that. This is the guy who in 1942 would have stopped the Midway attack, defending against Japan at the Battle of Midway. And he would have said, let's negotiate an oil treaty with Japan. And then he would have said, let's negotiate. They're beating up Russia. Let's sit down with Hitler. Okay, let's meet Hitler in Yalta after the Nazis take it, and let's negotiate with him and fuck Churchill. Really? I mean, it's just utterly amazing how this man is. He's the most corrupt individual to ever sit in the Oval Office, without any question. He's also the stupidest.
I mean, Malcolm, yeah, I couldn't have said it better myself. I mean, I want, first of all, for all of you out there with us right now, I want to thank you for joining us. I want to make sure that for those of you that haven't subscribed or not yet, make sure to subscribe to Malcolm and myself, because you're
Yeah.
getting the
Hit that little
information.
box up top that has our
Exactly.
names,
And you
and
and you
the
get press.
subscribe buttons will pop up from the bottom.
And you gotta understand something. We are fighting. This is part of the war. We are on the front line. You know, a war is fought not only with ammunition, with guns and fire, but a war is fought in a lot of different ways. This is the disinformation war, and we are part of it. We're out here
Right.
every day fighting Russia's misinformation, disinformation, Trump's lies and disinformation, and we're risking our freedom and everything else to be able to do that. So you, as our community, you as our movement, you are the resistance, and you are part of our megaphone. You're an extension of our voices. So I want to just say, God bless each and every one of you, and make sure to go out today. Make sure you spread this message for people to hear, to understand that this is not about "I told you so." Neither me nor Malcolm are sitting here gloating and patting ourselves on the back and saying "I told you so," because that's not what it's about. But we did say this, and this is what we're talking about. But we want to keep making sure that we get the message out, so more people that did believe us, so more people that didn't want to listen to us, so more people that said, "Hey, you guys are, saying some whacked out stuff or what's," and now that they could see it's factual, that will start believing, start understanding that this is a very serious time. The things that are happening not only worldwide but here in the United States. I mean, folks, just think about it. We're sitting here right now to watching this sham of a theatrical reality, whatever you want to call it, show up there between two world leaders, while we have people dying in Ukraine, real people dying in Ukraine. You have people dying in the Middle East. And not only that, but we have the military right now in Washington, D.C. And
Right.
not only do we have the military in Washington, D.C., we have Pam Bondi, who's the attorney general, has now decided today that she's going to weaponize and take over control of the Washington, D.C. police. This is what's happening, and this is all happening to distract you, so you don't really want to find out what's happening with the Epstein files. So you
Yeah.
don't so you don't find out all the pedophiles he's protecting and everything he's closing up. So you don't see all the moves he's doing behind the scenes with election reform, what that's being run by Stephen Miller, Susie Wiles, and Russell Vogt. By putting, these are all test runs. Washington D.C., Los Angeles. This is all gearing up for 2026, where the use of ICE to intimidate and all of that.
Yeah.
Malcolm, and that's why it's important for you to follow us, to subscribe to us, and also help in with the causes. Like Malcolm has his cause FAFO, right? Malcolm, tell us a
Yeah.
little bit about.
FAFO PAC.
Go ahead. Yeah.
FAFOPAC.org. In a week, we're going to be launching the Great Highway Overpass Takeover in the United States. We're going to want people to adopt an overpass, bring
Adopt
up
an overpass.
signs, and simultaneously start putting signs up every day so that people can change the meta narrative. I saw one the other day that said Trump equals Hitler, and a guy came up. He was so angry, started ripping down the posters. That guy got arrested. I saw another one that said Republicans protect pedos. And when you're on a highway, you're stuck there. That will be in your head for the next 10, 20 minutes. And we don't get information like that anymore, where we consume it and consider it. And so we're not speaking to the MAGA people. We're speaking to the 40% of the country that is not following the news, and whose minds we can change to get them to come out and vote. So FAFO PAC, which stands for Focused Action, Focused Objectives, PAC is going to be coming out and doing the Great Highway Overpass campaign. But with that, Lev, thanks for inviting me up tonight. And, I look forward to, but that was such a dud of a summit. That wasn't even a summit. It was a
wasn't
waste of
enough.
freaking time. It was a
It was
lunch
it,
date,
it was a waste
play
of
date.
time. It was a waste of time. It was a waste of so much money. It was an embarrassment to our country. It was an embarrassment in front of the world what he did, glorifying a authoritarian, a dictator, giving him the red carpet, the applause. Just like you said, he didn't do that for Vladimir Zelensky, a country that is under siege, under attack, and is the actual victim. And even till this moment, they're talking about how great they are together, because at the end of the day, Russia, they are what they sow. They stole the elections together. They're running this whole thing together, and they deserve to be in the same camp, just like they said. And that's why at the end of the day, together they will fall, because we will, just like Ukraine, like you said, will win their sovereignty and their freedom back. We will win our democracy back, because we're fighting this war on two continents right now. And today you saw not only a dud, but you saw also what you saw is the true relationships,
Yeah.
the true, like, how they care. Because when was the last time you saw a world leader, or especially Vladimir Putin, jump into the beast like that, and the two of them just take off?
Disgraceful.
It's just like that
Disgraceful.
doesn't happen. Anyway, it's late. We got a lot of things going on. I want to thank you guys. I want to wish you guys a great weekend. It's Friday. Hope you enjoy the weekend. I know there might be some things happening, so stay tuned. Make sure to subscribe to Malcolm, FAFO, comingsoon.org. Make sure you guys subscribe to also all the independent journalists out there, because the media is told, and I'm going to say in Trump's word, bullshit. And to end it off, we have about 2,000 people here. I really am asking you to help Ukraine right now. Alex is going on a mission to Dniprovsk. I'm going to post again. This is the GoFundMe for Alexander. If you guys could spread it, pass it wide, donate whatever you can. Every dollar helps. But right now, more than ever, they need your help. So thank you guys. Malcolm, my
All
brother,
right.
love you, man. Stay
All right.
good. If hopefully we could relax this weekend. If not, I'll
Ah,
tell you.
not a
We'll
chance.
be done by.
Not a chance. All right. See you later.
Have a great. Take care, guys. Bye.